Hello YouTube! We are a few days away from Halloween, so I thought it would be appropriate to talk about a few of the paranormal experiences that I've had throughout my life. First, I would like to warn that my cat is being super obnoxious, so I apologize if there are any moments where he's distracting me. Here. Did you hear him yell at me? He's cute, but he's a brat. I'm putting him on the floor and hopefully he'll stay away. But yes, I've had a few paranormal experiences throughout my life, starting with childhood, and I enjoy watching videos of this kind, so I thought I would make one. First, I will describe the experiences with a Ouija board that I had as a child, and then I will describe a couple of experiences that I've had throughout my life since then. First, I want to briefly describe to you that I am very sensitive in that I can almost all the time feel the spirits and the energies that are around me. I know there are a lot of people who don't believe in it, but I've just been this way my whole life. There are spirits and there are energies everywhere, and I feel it all the time, so for me to have an experience is not that odd. Like, I feel them all the time, but there have been a couple of scary times, so that's what I'm going to share with you today, are the times that I was not happy and terrified. Let me rephrase that. I am scared by it often, but there have only been a few, like, I want to say ghost stories. Yeah, I don't know. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to describe a few of the more scary moments that I've had in my life. But first, let me paint the picture of this Ouija board experience. I had some childhood friends who had a Ouija board that they played with every day. And there was a summer when I went to their house every day and we'd play with it. I didn't use it myself very much, but in the times that I did, it was bad, and I do not recommend using Ouija boards. It's just not a good thing to become involved with. But I do understand that, you know, everybody's curious and everybody, for some reason, wants to have these experiences, but whatever. So, there were two girls that I played with. They were sisters. And they always talked to this one entity who called himself just T, the letter T. They talked to him every day, at least that's what the Ouija board always said. You know, they would ask who they were talking to and it would say T. But so they thought that they were friends with this entity. He would tell them that he followed them to school every day and he loved them and like all this weird stuff. Supposedly, he was alive in the early 1900s and he died at a young age and blah blah blah. I'm not sure how much I believe what he said to them because he turned out to be very evil. He would get mad easily. For example, there was this one time I was there and I don't know if T was frustrated by the things that the girls were saying to him or asking him about or whatever, and he said that he was going to let his friends into the attic to play, and we didn't think much of it. We're like, okay, whatever. They put the Ouija board away, and then a few minutes later, there was all this noise above our heads in the attic. They lived in an apartment building where, you know, they never went into the attic or saw it or anything, but we heard this sounds like there were people running above our heads and just making this huge racket. It was terrifying, and so they got the Ouija board out again and asked him to stop doing that, and he just kept saying, please invite us in, we want to come downstairs and play with you. At that point, you know, we were just so terrified because the noise kept going on for like 10 minutes where all we could hear was stamping and running, and it was really scary. It sounded like there was a team of people in the attic just running around. and it was horrible. So that was the first, like, really bad experience with tea. It was shortly after that they decided that they needed to get rid of the Ouija board because it just wasn't good. Like, the things that he would do and say. There were a couple of cool moments where we'd ask him where he was sitting, and we'd ask him if we could feel, and he'd say, I'm sitting to the left of Jen. So we would go to Jen and put our hands out, and there'd be this very cold spot. You know, we could actually feel it, which was, you know, one of the cooler things about tea. But, shortly after they threw the Ouija board away, the younger sister was at my house, and we were talking about tea and how scared we were of him, and we were in my bedroom with the door shut. All of a sudden, we heard this, like, loud breathing sound behind the door, and this banging on the door. We thought it was, my friend's little brother. Her brother was, like, 5 at the time. He was always bothering us and wanting to be in the room with us, but for whatever reason, we weren't playing with him at that time. But so we figured that the breathing at the door was her little brother, and we just, you know, yelled at him to stop or whatever. And he did. So then we opened the door, and he wasn't there. We went out to where our moms were hanging out in the kitchen, and we asked if the little boy was just banging on the door. And they were like, no, he's outside. There's nobody by your door. So we were like, oh my God, we were talking about tea, and he started banging at the door, and we heard breathing sounds. And that was just utterly terrifying to me, that this entity was in my house, and we weren't even using the Ouija board. We were just talking about him, and it was bad. I was really scared by that one. I still get kind of freaked out when I think about it. This was years ago, though. I was like, I don't know, I was 12 at that time, maybe. So that was a good, like, 15 years ago. But so, those are the two, like, scariest things we experienced with the Ouija board, and I still remember those days, and I don't know why we were playing with it, and we were so young, and our mothers always told us not to, but why didn't our mothers take the Ouija board away? Whatever. So there's that. Another time, this is getting away from the Ouija board, I was about 18, and I was living in a small house with my mother and her stepfather, and my stepfather. They had just gotten married, and it had always been my mom and me my whole life, so it wasn't really normal to have this man living in the house, and I was getting used to that. But so it was late at night. I want to say it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I was playing on my computer. Back in those days, I was very nocturnal. I slept during the day, and I was awake all night just hanging out on the computer and doing random things. But so this one night, my dog was with me in the room. Her name was Jazz, and I was just sitting on the futon I had in my room watching TV and playing on the computer, and all of a sudden I looked to the left of me out the door, and there was a very tall man walking by my door. And at first I thought it was my stepfather. I was like, that's weird, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, why is he awake? I didn't think anything of it, but then it walked by again, and I saw its face, and it was not my stepfather, and my dog growled at it. I was not the only one who saw it, and that scared the crap out of me. It was horrifying. He was really tall and skinny, and he had this, like, crazy gray hair and just this evil look on his face. Like, I had never seen anything like that. I've seen, like, ghosts before, but never like a distinct man that looked like a person in my house. I was so terrified, and then once my dog started growling, it just went away. There's my cat, sorry. But it was just so scary. I remember I actually woke my mom and stepfather up, and I was like, there was just a man in our house. And they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I just saw this evil man. I actually think it was a ghost. And they just thought I was losing my mind. But I know that I am so sorry. He's cute, but he's obnoxious. I knew that it was a ghost, and it was terrible, and I hated it. Another time was in this house. My husband and I bought this house a little less than a year ago. It's been almost a year. And I am aware that, I wouldn't say this house is haunted, but there are definitely spirits here. More so when we first moved in. I think they've mostly gone away now. My cat, I'm so sorry. I'll try to edit this. But so anyway, shortly after we moved in, my husband was at work and I was sleeping in. I was in the house by myself. And I heard this sound. And I didn't think anything of it because I was half asleep. But then I distinctly heard it. In the next room from my bedroom is this piano that the people left who lived here before me. And it was playing music. It played a string of like 6 notes out of nowhere. I was so scared. It was so bad. My cat was sleeping in the bed with me, so I know that he wasn't just randomly running across the keys or something. It played this distinct little tune, and I was just so terrified. Like, I've never experienced anything else like that in this house, but I still remember how scared I was. Like, I never thought I would experience something like that. I told you that, you know, I feel spirits, I feel the energies around me, that's normal. But they don't usually, like, make sounds and do things like that. So, that was really scary. I'm trying to think if there are any little short stories, because this is going on 12 minutes now. Any of the other stories I have are long, so I'm just gonna end this here. Maybe I will make another one in the future. If you guys like it, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any experiences that you would like to share, I would love to hear them because I just love this stuff so much. But that's about it. I thank you for watching. I hope you were entertained and have a great day. Thank you.